started? Cool. Okay, so we start at 7 and 7, and it is my great pleasure to open this third 𝗏𝗏 meeting. I'm a professor in esoteric, and this meeting follows the mission and main objectives of 𝗏𝗏, which is affirmation of culture as public good, which is one of the most important segments of every society. Also, a better understanding of intercultural and multicultural aspects, which leads us to our main idea of investing in young people that could be or should be the future leaders in culture and arts and creative industries in the region of Balkans. 𝗧𝗶𝗽𝘀. Can you hear me well? Excellent. So, although artists and art theorists should have close cooperation, it is usually the opposite. And 𝗏𝗏 will try to build a stronger connection between them. For that reason, we have organized 2 conferences that were online, and hopefully, not hopefully, the third will definitely be in person and online, of course. And the first conference, on the first conference, we have discussed artistic freedom and cultural taboos, and also online and offline reality. The second conference, challenges of contemporary momentum, we have gathered artists, collectors, and galleries to discuss the increasing social and media demand to artists to be constantly present in public. So this is, let's say, a short introduction to our keynote speaker, 𝗧𝗶𝗽𝘀, and I'm calling her to make her presentation and to introduce herself first. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nanant. Thank you, Yelena. Thank you, everyone. It's my honor to be here today with me and my team. And as Mr. Nanant mentioned, so my name is 𝗧𝗶𝗽𝘀. I am the Product Service Networking Director, and I represent Institute of Entrepreneurship Development and, of course, EUcalls. Allow me to share my screen. Just give me a second. Can you all see my screen?
I can see it, definitely.
Wonderful. My today's presentation is about tips for networking and programs with funding opportunities for artists and arts historians. The cultural and creative industries were among those that hit the hardest from the pandemic, as a large part of the sector depends on large gatherings. And as a result, music festivals, theaters, cinemas, and other venue-based activities were significantly affected, leaving many artists and workers in this sector hanging. And of course, without knowing when the situation will get better, these professionals are significantly exposed and vulnerable due to the usual non-constructual nature of the work. And however, one is certain, as the world is still trying to get the pandemic under control, the cultural and creative sector will be the last to open, at least not in full capacity. And the Culture EU is an interactive guide to allow easier access to all available funding opportunities and creative projects in the EU. It covers opportunities from Creative Europe and other EU funding programs like Digital Europe, LIFE, and EU structural funds. Apart from the Creative Europe, that is known for providing EU funding for cultural and creative projects, there are others that are not so obvious on anyone's eye. And the reason is that these EU funding programs have different priorities, and still they have some goals with a more cultural and creative dimension from time to time. And as a result, many creative sector professionals, they often overlook those opportunities. And we will start with some network tips that can benefit your future actions. And we will start with have a specific strategy and a clear goal. Always keep in mind what you want to achieve through the networking activities and, of course, through your future collaboration. Do your homework. You have to check the participants or the organization that you want to approach and take notes of some key activities in which you are interested in. In this way, you will be sure about the region you will want to approach them. Practice, practice, practice. Try to practice your points, your pitch, your presentation. Add some lines about yourself and your organization. And with all this practice, you will gain the experience about how you can present yourself and how you can stay focused and describe your pitch with a few words, of course, if there is a time limitation. And we can't forget about the body language. That is very important. In face-to-face interactions or online, physical body language is the key to keeping your speaker's attentions after your words. Do not underestimate in meetings because the body language is extremely important as well. You can use your hands while you are talking, and of course, a good posture is needed. You can't lie on the sofa or sitting straight on your chair and all that. Do not take up too much time. Short calls of 30 minutes or short face-to-face interactions are ideal for a start point for a future collaboration. Be as straightforward as you can be. Time is important, and many people do not have much available time to listen of what you have to say. In this point and this time that you have at hand, you have to explain your point of view and talk about how you can collaborate with this person. And meaningful communication is the key to success. A fruitful communication always start and continue with authenticity and willingness to create value and engage by exchanging knowledge. Ask questions and show your interest about your speaker. Listen to what the speaker has to say. You can give some keywords during the call or the face-to-face interaction if you can write it down on a paper, or you can keep it on mind as well. And these keywords can be related to thematics and specific sector that you are interested in or you want to be involved in. And in this way, you will guide the discussion, after the discussion, in a way and issues points that you are interested in. Search for interesting events online is by attending an event, conference, a workshop, or networking activity in general. You will meet people and organizations with the same interests, goals, and you will be able to provide valuable information, feedback, and partnership opportunities. Participation in this kind of events provides you the anticipation of getting to know other people with the same interests and maybe, of course, with the same values. And we will continue with a more advanced networking tips. Make your professional social media profiles and pages remarkable. You have to enrich your profile and more information about you and your achievements so far, search for groups, forums, etc., in which you are interested to participate. Be active, share ideas, interact with other members, create and write comments based on your opinion in thematic topics that you are involved. In this way, you will highlight your presence, and of course, you will be always up to date to the trends around your sector. And you can use networking platforms for European projects. This is a primary step for a participation in and finding new partners for your bright ideas. To make use of this tip, you can head to the European Commission portal to find partners based on their involvement in EU funding programs, or you can search by organization details like organization type, country, or origin. And the other option is you can find partners for your projects using the EUcalls Smart platform that is easy, reliable, and fast. EUcalls is built for simplicity and time saving, and it creates the most fertile ground for potential partners to increase their visibility, communicate their experience, goals, and collaborate and build, of course, strong consortia. You can join one or more networks. By joining a network and becoming a member of them, it's depending on, of course, for your professional status, your interests and goals, you open the door to endless possibilities as you automatically have access to a wide range of like-minded people, events, information, and resources. And find a good reason for a follow-up email or a call. Follow up with people, organization as soon as you can, with a thank you, an introduction, information, anything that you want to show your interest and the value that you can share. Also, do not forget to follow them on social media. And last but not least about the advanced tips is support others professionally, and they will help you too. Be available to help others with a provide valuable feedback, share about their successful ventures, new role, or initiatives. All this will create a memorable perception of you in their minds and new opportunities for yourself. And we will continue with relative European programs. In general, Europe's cultural heritage with its common values not only reflects our past, but also shapes our present and builds our future. The culture and the creative sector also have the power to improve lives, transform communities, generate jobs, growth, and create spillover effects in other sectors. With all this being said, the European Commission have involved in about 20 EU-funded programs in cultural and creative dimension and support projects that are around this sector. Some of the projects and programs that have immediate activities around the culture and the creative sectors are the following. And we will start with the Creative Europe program. The Creative Europe program is the main source of EU funding programs around the culture and creative sectors. It offers funding opportunities to a wider range of organizations working in all cultural sectors. The new program is more related towards the new, of course, Commission priorities, focusing on greening, gender equality, social inclusion, and a stronger international dimension. And the total budget for this program is almost 2.5 billion euros. The type of actions of this program is artistic and cultural mobility and residency, artistic creation and audience development, developing business and management skills, developing personalization of activity sharing, products, services, and infrastructural development, research, development, and innovation. And the most common question for this is who can apply? Project applicants need to be legally established and officially registered in the participating country of the Creative Europe program.
Wait, Elizabeth, we have some...
Moreover, in order to be...
can you hold on for a second? We have some technical problem.
You have to register at least 2 years.
Elizabeth, please wait for a second, please. We have some technical problem. Your voice is scrambled for the last couple of minutes. Can you just wait for a second and repeat us, let's say, last slide, for example? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Sorry about that. My internet connection for some reason stopped. Just give me a second. I will share again and I will continue. Okay. Can you hear? Can you see my screen? Of course, can you hear me? Okay, wonderful. I will tell again about who can apply about the Creative Europe. It's about applicants that have to be registered and established in participating country of the Creative Europe program. And moreover, the applicants have to be registered and legally established of at least 2 years. You can see me, yes, of at least 2 years. Moreover, individuals are not eligible except for the self-employed individuals. And we will continue with Erasmus Plus. most of you, maybe you know the Erasmus Plus about the student mobilities or the teachers mobilities. And Erasmus Plus is the EU flagship program for education. It addresses both formal and non-formal education and training, and also focuses on youth and culture. Erasmus Plus promotes lifelong and inclusive learning across Europe, and therefore contributing to sustainable growth and innovation, social cohesion, and active EU citizenship. It provides opportunities for mobility, partnerships, and policy dialogue through project funding, and often reinforcing cross-sectoral cooperation with a specific focus on creativity. And the total budget for this program is 26.2 billion euros. And we'll continue with the type of actions for this program. It's about artistic and cultural mobility and residency, internationalization of activity and access to new markets, developing, creating creative and technical skills, digitalization and new business models, networking and knowledge sharing, research and development and innovation, and developing business and management skills. Again, who can apply? Different types of organization can apply for the Erasmus Plus. It can be universities, NGOs, SMEs, schools, anything. Any type of organization can participate in the Erasmus Plus. Of course, it must be located in EU member state or third country associated with the program. And we will continue with the European Solidarity Corps. This program aims to enhance the engagement of young people, organizations, solidarity, and volunteering activities to strengthen social cohesion, solidarity, democracy, European identity, and active citizenship. The program supports both individuals and organizations seeking to get engaged in volunteering and solidarity programs. And the total budget for this program is 1 billion euros. The type of actions for this program is developing creative and technical skills. Again, who can apply? The program is open to any organization legally established in EU member state or a third country associated with the program. The most common and the eligibility in order for the organization to participate is to hold a valid volunteer quality label or Erasmus Plus volunteering accreditation. Moreover, the composition of the volunteers team must be international and at least a quarter of the volunteers must come from other country other than the one with activity that takes place. And we will continue with the Horizon Europe. That is a scientific research and innovation multi-annual program, a successor of the recent Horizon 2020 program, and the earlier framework programs for research, technological development. And through the second pillar, Cluster 2, Culture, Creative, and Inclusive Society is relevant for the cultural and creative sectors, as it can support sustainable innovation, job creation, and improve working conditions. The cultural and creative industries are expected to play a prominent role in this project funding under this cluster, and there are funding opportunities specifically directed towards the CCIs. And the total program budget for this is 95.5 billion euros. And the type of actions for this program is research, development, innovation, digitalization and new business models, networking and knowledge sharing, internationalization of activity, access to new markets, developing creative and technical skills, audience development, artistic creation, product services, and infrastructure development. Again, who can apply? Different eligibility criteria for different actions and different goals. Any kind of, in many cases, it's any kind of type of organization can participate, from NGOs, SMEs, universities, etc., except if the goal refers to a specific target group like SMEs and universities only. And we will continue with the SERV. It's the Citizens Equality Rights Values Program, and it's a new instrument merging two previous funding of programs, the Europe for Citizens and the Rights, Equality and Citizens Program, as known as REC. The program is aimed at promoting and protecting EU values, promoting rights, non-discrimination, equality, promoting citizens' engagement and participation in the democratic life of the EU, as well as raising awareness of their common European history and preventing, of course, combating gender-based violence and violence against the children. The total program budget for this is almost 1.7 billion euros. The type of actions for this program is research and development innovation, product service infrastructure development, networking and knowledge sharing, digitalization and new business models, developing creative and technical skills. Again, who can apply? For this program, applicants must have and create a partnership of at least 2 organizations. Partnerships need to include different organization types like local authorities, universities, NGOs, and all that. Moreover, different types of activities must occur, like trainings, online tools, and all that. And you have to involve people from different target groups. And activities must take place not only in one country, and of course it has to be in specific EU member countries or any other country that is listed in the EEA list. Here you can see some other relevant programs, and some of them, as I mentioned previously, they are not so obvious, like the LIFE or the Agriculture Corp. So you have to be careful, and of course you can constantly search about the calls that are around the cultural and creative sector. In this way, you can contact us, and of course you can reach us to any social media platforms as well, and you can drop a message or email as you wish. And at this point, I would like to thank you for your time and of course for your attendance. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Since this is the part of the webinar which is open to questions from the audience, I would like to thank Elizabeth. First of all, I would like to thank you for your very successful, very useful presentation. It was an honor to listen to you today. I believe it will be very useful for many young creatives across Europe. And when we started this project, our first conference, when we started Jelena's actually idea of our president of Schubert Association, Jelena Simic, was this idea to bring art practice and art theory together. It was a big theme of our conferences in general. So I think this webinar is also a big part of that. I think it will be very useful for especially younger audiences and creatives to hear what you had to say to us today. And I'm very happy that Elizabeth and Jelena cooperated together, came together to make this event what it is. And it makes me personally very proud as an art historian to be a part of this project. So I would like to thank you both one more time. Since this is the part of conference which is open to questions, I would like to use this opportunity to ask or at least to say that here, for us who majored in humanities, we often have this impression that humanities are kind of left out, or that young people do not have enough interest in them. So I would also like to ask to point out some key values that these European programs are looking for in humanities, to bring together not only humanities, but bring together humanities with entrepreneurship also, because that is also one important aspect of bringing theory and practice together. So from what I understood, it is about different cultures coming together, as you said. So I guess equality and inclusivity are a big part of it also.
That's right, as you mentioned, and in general, European Union trying through educational actions to try, in general, as I can say it, to involve the culture with entrepreneurship because there is a gap between them.
Yes.
So through the education, they are trying to build a bridge, as I can say it, in order to involve more citizens, because some of them maybe they are in different countries, but they don't know their history and they don't know some facts about their history. So it's a good choice and a good action in order to be educated around the culture of their country and of course other countries in general in Europe.
Yes, of course, because as we know, formal education is a very big part of our lives and professional lives, but it isn't the only thing that is important. Also, it's always important to learn. I would like to ask anyone who has any kind of questions. Jelena, do we have any questions in the live chat? Would you like to add something?
Not yet. My question is whether we make some network connections or make some platform for young art historians as well. What is your experience for that type of connectedness within a specific and special type of work? Because artist is one thing, a visual artist is one thing. Art theorists are we are something else. We are not as a business type of education. We are mostly dealing with theory and some kind of practice as curators. What is your experience in this type of profession for EU projects? Thank you.
Innovative platforms most likely are more engaged from the public, from specific target groups as well. If you engage an easy user experience inside the platform, you can engage more people in it. And of course, through the platform or through any networking activity, anyone will have to be able to contact each other in order to create some collaborations or even to exchange some opinions about the specific thematic area, because exchanging opinions, giving feedbacks or anything like that is the most important, because maybe some of them, they have some, they don't know something specific, but some others can provide the right information for them. So there'll have to be an interactive platform, and of course the user experience can be easy for them in order to be engaged and to be more involved in this.
Thank you.
We would also like to say that anyone who is listening and at any moment is allowed to ask any questions. You can send them to our website, which is written in the live chat, or you can contact us via our social media accounts, Facebook or Instagram. And once again, I'm very happy that we came here today together to talk about this and this very, very useful presentation. I think it will be very useful for young people, creatives, and people who are who want to join to the creative industries from any side. Also,
let me give some remark before the closing. We are still in questions and answers. It is this type of webinars are very useful, and I'm asking if there's some of you have some similar things that we want to share with us, like some connections through media platforms, social networks, and so on. And what is your experience with this type of connections in your work?
Jelena, before we have any other input, I would like to highlight the fact that the majority of us, when it comes to our professional life, Sometimes we underestimate the power of social media, but there are many social media groups, especially on Facebook and on LinkedIn, that if we search them with the correct keywords relating to our profession or our goals or our networking goals, we will find them, and it is very easy to join them, to ask later to join. So it would be very easy to network with other groups of in group members, and start a conversation about something that we care about, or present some of our ideas or achievements or goals. And there are many groups as well that are related to European programs. Some of them are already mentioned by my dear colleague Elizabeth, and you will find specific, for example, Erasmus Plus groups related to arts and the creative and the cultural sector, or the Creative Europe program, which is especially focused on this sector. And there are many groups on social media that give us many opportunities to connect with other members, to express our opinions, to find partners, to reach for help or tips. So my sincere suggestion is to not underestimate the power of social media, because there are true hidden gems inside them and very helpful groups that it would be a great idea to become members and express our opinions and create a more specific network of people around Europe that will help us reach our goals, transform an idea into a proposal, which is a very difficult step for the majority of people that want to start their EU funding journey, but they don't know how, or do not know the right partners, or they do not have experience on writing proposals for European programs. So these groups are very helpful for everyone, even if you are a newcomer to the EU funding ecosystem, or if you are an experienced partner that wants to upgrade their level or expand their network.
That was also on our last conference, we discussed about how can artists and art historians represent themselves on social media, because it can really boost your engagement and networking. So since social media is such a big part of our lives today, especially during the pandemic, but it will also be like that after the pandemic, maybe we can make another presentation in the future about how can young creatives boost their social media engagement and their social media presence, because it's such a big part for us today, and also for business, for entrepreneurship. It can also help us grow in any sense.
I think that we underestimating power of social media. Especially young people know what is the social media and impact of social media in their work and life as well. But we as older people, we do not understand what is the true meaning and power of social media in representing our ideas. That is why our forum is with experts, in older school experts and young people and young researchers, to make a connection and share our experience with the knowledge, new knowledge, with young people. That is why it's very important to have this type of webinars, because something of that is very new for me. I do not know about something, for example, about how to deal with social media and how to deal with webinars. That is, everything is new for example, for me. I used to deal with old type of school presentation in live and so on and so on. This is very, very interesting, and I hope that some of you have some questions. We have new participants as well. You may ask Elizabeth and also 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏. We have some questions, but young people don't know how to use social media in the right way, and they don't post their works, and I think that is a big mistake. Okay, what is your opinion, Elizabeth? And or 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏, whatever.
No, it's okay. I think that people are more shy when it comes to ideas and proposals, and not always the professional proposals, but a more casual proposal about let's collaborate with each other, or if you have something more technical and I have something more inspirational, let's collect our ideas and create something better together. Let's try to find how to create a great impact together. So I think that the majority of people are really shy on sharing ideas or goals or thoughts or achievements as well, because as Marek mentioned on the chat, yes, they are trying to be great curators on their walls, on their digital walls, on social media, but they do not engage and interact with other content. So, for example, if I always post only my work and I do not interact with your posts about your work, or I do not comment on your ideas, if I don't message you, if I think that we have something in common and we could collaborate, there is no further opportunities for both of us. So I'm trying to present myself, but I am alone, and you are trying to do something, and and you do not receive the reactions that you want in order to create something further. So I think that there is a rule with the 3/4 about post about yourself, post about others, congratulate others about things they do, about achievements, about ideas, about creations, about everything, and also interact with new people about things that you could transform and create further together. And this is something that really works on the EU funding world and the related European programs, because there are many calls for proposals that have many dimensions. They have an academic dimension, a practical or technical dimension, and a more creative dimension. And trust me, due to our experience, there are there is a small percentage of people or institutes that can perform great on all of these dimensions. You always need help. You always need reliable partners, and not only partners that are experienced, because reliable is different from experienced. You could be a reliable newcomer partner, or a reliable researcher that has great ideas that we could transform in a proposal or a project. So I think that if we could decrease how shy we are about sharing things, commenting on others, congratulate others, ask others to work together, it could be better, not only on social media, but on every other platform that let us communicate with other people or post about ourselves, our work, our research, our achievements, or our future goals, of course.
I'm very happy that
just a second, we have one comment. So we must learn how to sell works and sell ourselves. We are not commodity. We as a human beings, first and foremost, we are not commodity, but we must learn how to communicate. For example, social media, as we speak about that in our first and the second 𝗧𝗏 conference, Professor 𝗧𝗶𝗽𝘀 especially, we speak about off and on reality. What is off, what is on reality. If we use internet and social platforms and media as a tool to help us to make something better, not only for us and for society as well, we use it in a correct way. We are not that in a term as commodity, we as artists or we as art theorists. Also, we speak about something that is very important to understand as we speak now for our presentation on social media. One of the greatest, not greatest, but it's very interesting that nowadays we see artists as star for with a very small lifespan. If they are in social media, they are present and they are artists. If they are not on social media, they are invisible. We cannot see them at all. So what is the right way to present ourselves in social media? Not to be too present and not to be lower on these platforms. What is, for your experience, what is the true measure for that? As we know, our society forced young artists and artists as well to be always present in the media.
I think that it depends on what makes you feel comfortable about yourself and your professional self, your professional dimension. So, of course, I believe that if you build a social media account that represents fairly your experience so far, your future goals, and your work, and your research, of course, and not only on social media, because there are many other opportunities in the digital world. The blogs, the portals, the online portals, other platforms that are created and curated only for people on specific groups, creative, cultural sectors, and related industries. If you have a profile in every of these platforms, the most important secret, but it's not a secret because we're talking about it right now, is to not let it go. So if I create an account on a platform, on an X platform, for example, it's not just my name and my avatar and two posts about my current work. You have to be there. You have to keep posting every week or every 2 weeks if you do not have time, of course. So you have to be present. The secret is to be present in every profile that you create. You choose the platforms, you choose the social media channels, but you have to be present. Of course, I'm sure that all of us here today have seen many profiles or pages from artists or historians that used to post very to post many things about their work and achievements during the last year, but this year, no posts, no shares, no interaction, nothing. So this is something that destroys your escalation on the algorithm, because every social media channel has an algorithm that runs backward on the back office side of the social media platform. So if you do not feed the algorithm, you are not there. So be present. My tip to everyone is be present. Be present on that platform that you chose for a reason. Be present to your Facebook page or profile. Be present on your Instagram stories. And you do not have to worry about how often you need to post something. Just post something. Once in a week, it's okay. Once in a day, it's okay. Once in 2 weeks, it's okay. But you have to post something in the days or weeks or months you want to, with the consistency. You have to be consistent and you have to be present. I think that this is the best tips for everyone. And of course, talk about yourself the way you want people to see you, because they don't know us, they don't know our work, they got to know us through our posts, our stories, our blog posts, our pictures, our images, our everything. So you have to feel comfortable and proud about everything you post. And of course, you have the right to edit or delete something later. But I believe that if you curate a content that you are confident about, this is something that your audience will appreciate sooner or later, but they will appreciate it. So as Marek said before, sometimes we sell ourselves, but not as an object, but as something that the other people want us to see, to let them create chances for communicating with us, say something good about us, or work with us. Because I think that Elizabeth has a great put on it as well, but there are many institutes or universities or organizations that submit proposals for European programs, and they have and these proposals are approved, but during the dissemination and the implementation of the projects, find gaps that they cannot fulfill themselves, and search for third parties and coordinators in order to keep the project going. And many times, if they do not have friends or co-workers or someone that someone else talked about and feel comfortable to ask them to collaborate on a specific approved project, they search on social media, they search on web, on the internet. So let's say, for example, that you have a very well organized blog about your research, your achievements, your past experience. You have many choices to be the one that they will contact with and ask them to help and join the project. Maybe
something, excuse me,
one-off collaboration or a long-term collaboration, but you have many choices. You have many opportunities to be the one.
If I may say something, the social medias and internet as well is the cheapest way to present your work, to present ourselves. The mainstream media, such as TV stations or newspapers, are very expensive for young people, and the social media we must understand as a media platform for us, not how to sell ourselves, but how to represent ourselves, and learn how to communicate with other people in order to connect and explore others' ideas, achievements as well. Not only represent me, what I'm doing on a daily basis, if you agree with me, but young people must learn how to represent themselves. I speak about visual artists. On the other hand, young art historians and art historians maybe benefit for young artists because they learn, they know how to write, they know how to represent art and artists on platforms. So that is the key word, connection between art historians and art visual artists, to make some connections and make some platforms or social media pages or blogs, whatever, and to learn from each other how to represent themselves. If you agree, is that?
Yes, I totally agree. And I would like to add that when you create an account, even if it is a profile or a page, it is very important to be very practical in the way that you follow other accounts and other profiles or other pages. So 3 years or 10 years before, a good strategy back then was to comment on everything. If a project you follow, an artist, a historian you follow, post something, just comment. This is not a good strategy nowadays. This is something that you have to do, but in a very logical way. And you have to do it as a person, not as a bot, a robot. So if you want to congratulate someone about something, write something with value. If you want to add something on a post that an art historian just published, and you have a valuable input about what he or she says on their post, just write it, but write it as yourself, as a human, as a professional. Don't just use an emoji with claps, or just say amazing or bravo or congratulations. Give value or create value to something with your input, but it has to be something that when he or she reads your comment, it will create a stronger connection and will lead to a further communication with you. And maybe he or she will get back to you with another comment or question about your next post or your next story or your next sample. So the networks that we are in our social media, it's not something that it comes by luck, it's something that we create. If you follow the right accounts, you have more opportunities to be followed by the right accounts and create the right opportunities. If you follow random accounts or just accounts that belongs to your friends and only your colleagues, you understand that you create a silo with people that you already know, and you maybe talk about your professional life and your goals and in your real life outside social media. So you don't create more opportunities. And there are, I think that almost everyone nowadays, not specifically by themselves, by representing their organization, their events, and there are other things that they are part of, they have social media. Maybe one account or more account or accounts in every social media platform, but they have something. So if you are really keen on communicate with someone for a specific reason or with a specific organization because you want to pursue something with them in the near future, don't be shy, connect with them, follow them, comment on them, but do it with value, with a true meaning, not just emojis or reactions, but a comment that has to say something, that has to add something. So I think, Elena, that it's very important to connect with people, new people with great experience, people that are the MVPs of a specific industry or sector. it's not just PR. It's something that it has value to us, and it can give and create further value to the other side of the social media, to the recipient of the comment, of the message that we want to send. So I think that if we became less shy about things that have to do with our professional life and goals, everything will work for us.
If you agree, I will say something more on this topic. I think that more and more after the pandemic as well, we learned the power of social media from one side, and from the other side, we must learn how to make new values in communication through social media, especially in this type of connectedness with platforms or other people on how in order to present ourselves and our work. This is the key word that you said previously, values. We must learn how to value ourselves and value other people's work. And that is the main thing for young people, to learn how to value themselves and other people, as well for us as older people. I mean, for people who used to work with direct connections in our work. Everything is new for us as well. Is there any questions is somebody want to ask something? Professor, is there something, because we talk about off and on reality, is there something you want to say?
I have to agree with our speaker, and you know, like almost 20 years ago, some people that were high managers from Microsoft and some IT companies from the States and other countries had this idea that internet will eventually turn into you know, stock of everything. You know, the main problem decades ago was to find the information, like to get the right information about something. Now the main problem is to find the right information about something. So what Elizabeth said at the end is the question of quality of online presence. So it's not only like being online present and watch me, I have done this, or this is my new picture, my new design, my new whatever. It's about the quality, because there are millions of artists around the world. 99% of them seeks for I don't know, acknowledgement of public, for success, of course. But in reality, we hear only about people that are original enough, because nowadays being completely original, it's very, very, let's say, shady business. So I thank you for this, I don't know, question or comment or whatever, and of course our speaker for, let's say, very, very precise lecture about being online and making a network of connection. My main profession is I'm a producer myself, and I can tell it from my own experience that social capital is one of the most important things for success in almost every business. I would just say this in the end. I think that some very maybe the richest person in the world, like a century ago, was asked. Rockefeller the first was asked at the end of his life, like you have, I don't know, dozens of factories, oil fields, I don't know, 2 banks on your own, blah 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 blah. And he said, yes, at this point I don't know what I have, but you know, take everything from me, leave me my contacts, leave me people that I know, and I will be rich again. And from my point of view, I will translate it tonight. I mean, at this moment, I will be successful again. That's it. Thank you very much, Alan.
Is there any questions or remarks, or should I make my closing remarks now?
Is there any questions more in the live chat? I don't see any.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
there is no. Okay. On the behalf of 𝗧𝗶𝗽𝘀 Association, I would like to thank you all. First, the key speaker, esteemed Ms. 𝗬𝗶𝗽𝘀, for her excellent thought-provoking talk, respected Professor 𝗏𝗏𝗀, for his outstanding introductory speech, and dear Ms. 𝗧𝗶𝗫𝘀 𝗏𝗏𝗀 for her organizing questions and answers, keeping things under control and reasonably on time. Thank you, 𝗧𝗏𝗀, for that. However, most importantly, I would like to thank you all the participants. Without your inputs and this discussion, our webinar would not have been the success that it has. There is no doubt left that the organization of this type of webinar is much needed, especially after the well-known situation that befell us in 2020 and all challenges of the contemporary momentum proceeding today. This continuity in the work of the creative and cultural industries was a traumatic moment. Substantial efforts are required to recover the sector, to facilitate startup association, and to create a new ecosystem that, among other things, will develop a new healthy common regional market that will be of great importance to help recovering the sector. We are obliged to identify new knowledge to build a new foundations instead of just reassembling broken parts of the past in their form before the pandemic. That is why we are very honored that esteemed colleagues from EUcalls, along with us, organized the webinar Tips for Networking Actions and Programs with Calls for Proposals. I agree with Ms. 𝗏𝗏𝗀 said, and must empathize that the cultural and creative industries are and must be the main focus of the European Union in the future years. Effective networking that artists and art theorists should follow to boost their digital and physical presence and strengthen their communication is foremost priority for resilience to external crises. Furthermore, creative industries are primarily entrepreneurial, innovative, sustainable, and flexible. Acquiring the right network tools, as we see tonight, will unlock fruitful opportunities for partnerships and collaborations. To improve the sector, is important to discover the European funding programs, as we see tonight. I feel, along with many other things we are doing, that this webinar is beneficial and we should continue in this direction. So I'm glad to announce that our future activities will be to create a more comprehensive cultural network in the region and beyond, to establish a new institution that meets the need of young people of 21st century. And let me conclude by assuring you all that EUcalls with 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗀 full and unwavering support for young researchers and visual artists in overcoming all challenges on their part to create a sustainable and innovative environment to foster the development of creative and cultural industries in the future. And before you leave, let's give a big thank you from my side to all of you. And let me invite you to our next conference on May 3rd, 2020, and we'll post it on our social media as well. So please stay tuned. And now I will finish recording.